Sitting here in my truck at lunchtime and thinking about TDS, what they call Trump Derangement Syndrome. But how about Trump Delusional Syndrome that the MAGA and Trumpites suffer from? Of course, yesterday was Taco Tuesday. Trump always chickens out. Once again, he couldn't keep a promise of his. But to me, it's not about politics, right versus left, although I want to address that in this video. Both sides of the political spectrum base themselves on fear. Just like religion, politics is based on fear. And if they can pump a fear into you, they can manipulate you. And they can manipulate you to hate people. Such as Christians can be manipulated to hate Satanists or pagans or atheists or agnostics or Buddhists or Muslims. Muslims can be manipulated into fearing Christians or pagans or Satanists or whatever. And people can be manipulated to fear what is perceived as the opposite. So you have the Trump people and the MAGA people always labeling people on the left as, having T.D.S, Trump derangement syndrome. And, a lot of the left people can act crazy. The funny thing is, so can a lot of the people on the right, or so-called conservative or Republican side of things. To me, at this day and age, in this time period, it would seem like people could realize that, we're once Trump supporters. It's not worth it. To them, it's strange to me that anybody would still support Trump or any politician, Republican or Democrat for that matter. But, a lot of people on the right, the conservatives, were always, condemning the left because Biden was losing his mind. He was obviously, in my opinion, and in the opinions of people who are professionals. Now, I'm into psychology and sociology and things like that, just as an interest of mine, and even metaphysics. But there are actual people who that's their profession, and they can see that Trump is mentally declining. Well, we've seen that with Biden, and of course the people on the right, the Trumpites and the MAGA people, when Biden was president, they were rightfully so pointing out his mental decline. The kid sniffer, Biden. But at the same time, why aren't the Trumpites being consistent? Just like the Trumpites and people like that and conservatives and stuff were pointing out, rightfully so, the bullshit of the people that were all for the masks and the masks being enforced and the RNA shot medical experiment shot being enforced on people. Well, yeah, those people were delusional and nuts and crazy. Well, it's the same thing. But when someone tries to point out and show you how you're also being delusional and nuts, then they have to start labeling you and calling you names. Oh, you must be a Biden supporter, you're a leftist, or you're this. No, I'm neither right wing nor left wing because I'm not part of that dirty bird of politics. I don't believe in politics or politicians or statism whatsoever or government or any of that crap. Anywho. But it's it's an interesting study to see people on the extreme. When you study metaphysics, you understand pendulums and you understand degrees and how people can be on one polarity or the other polarity, and have this extremist belief to the point that they won't see the other side of things. They won't dare to understand and ask somebody, why do you believe in this belief or that belief, or why do you have these thoughts? It's automatically, oh, you're evil. Like Christians, if you're not a Christian, I was one for well over 35 years, 36, 37 years, and I seen, people that were non-Christian, whether they were pagan or other religions, oh, they were evil or they were lost or something was wrong with them. And now I understand. Because now I myself am a Satanist, a Levian type Satanist. I don't believe in an actual devil. I don't worship a devil. I just like the idea of Satanism as it's more of a tongue-in-cheek thing for me. But the point being is, you want to sacrifice children to the devil or be a cannibal or, this kind of crap. No, absolutely not. That type of behavior is what Christians and people like that are for wars and stuff are about. They're about sacrificing their young in their little political wars. Now, I'm glad that Trump has chickened out once again, and this time he's got the ceasefire thing going on with Iran. The country that did not have nuclear weapons, the country that was of no threat to us, But of course, the Christians, the MAGA people, they use the whole idea that Iran, because it's, Islam, mostly an Islamic country as far as culturally and religiously and theologically and all that, they use that. Well, I don't give a fuck what they do over there. They're not bothering us. But this whole war thing, we know what that was about. Some people will say it was for Israel. Well, yes, but it's bigger. There's a reason why Israel is so important. Israel is important to the international bankers. And not all the international bankers are Jewish, by the way, or Jews. So it's all about elitism. It's like I was correcting a coworker this morning. He was talking about the rich, the super rich wanting to rule. It's not super rich people, nor is it super poor people that are innocent. There are elitists in all spectrums of economic standing, economic class. There are super wealthy people that don't want to harm anyone. They don't want to control anything and manipulate people. They just enjoy their yachts and their wealthy life and actually use some of their money to do great things and nice things, charities and things like that. And there are poor people that are absolute elitist control freaks that live in trailer parks, and ghettos and things like that. I've lived in trailer parks and for a long time, that want to control people. And if they could, they would, but they control through proxy, through politicians, because that's what you are when you vote for someone. You're just wanting to control someone else by proxy, through your favorite politician to write laws for the other person to obey because you live in fear. Politics is about fear. So whether you're a righty telling the lefties that they suffer from T.D.S. or Trump derangement syndrome, or the lefties that are pointing out, or the lefties pointing out the delusion of people that support Trump and that nutball that he is. And he is also, no doubt, again, I will say, in my opinion, and in the professional opinions of those who are in the professions of mental health, it's obvious that Trump is in mental decline, just like Biden was. Let's be honest. If you condemn people who supported Biden who was in mental decline, and to condemn people for the whole, the maskatards that wanted to force everyone to wear a mask and want everyone to be forced to have a shot, but then you want to do the opposite and force things on other people, then you're no different. I would rather see people from both polarities, religious, non-religious, right-wing, left-wing, drop all that bullshit. Let's come to the middle and meet, because as the years go by, you're going to find that mankind, our only hope, is that we come together. Some of you that know of me or have seen some of my older videos and stuff, I talk about how I used to be in the white supremacy movement and Christian identity movement, and how I finally got my head out of my ass and realized that was all based on fear and superstitions of religion and bullshit. And now I pride myself in being in the middle. The middle, not politically, but the middle as in just because of your religion or who you are or your race or whatever, you're not my enemy. If you support Trump to this day, I'm just asking you why. Why? Be honest with yourself. You think, well, if I don't support him or the Republicans or the right-leaning politics and so-called conservative, if I don't support it, then the lefties will take over. Well, the lefties feel the same thing. It's a seesaw. It's fear. It's time to walk away from all of that. Just walk away from all that bullshit. Stop letting religion and politics divide us. And let's come together and find the common ground. And the common ground is we're all human beings just want to live our lives. You live your life as you see so fit, as long as you're not harming another person or their personal belongings. I don't give a shit. I can disagree with your beliefs. But I don't want a politician or a priest to make laws for you to follow to live the way I live. Okay? And I don't want you to do the same to me. Just an idea. Just wanted to get those thoughts off of my mind here. Just thinking, I can't understand why anybody would still support Trump. Back when I was in Christian identity, 2015, 2016, I still was in that world and in that stupid mindset. And I was, even the Anti-Defamation League still has my old postings on their website. You go in their archive, where I even condemned white nationalists and things like that, fellow Christian identists that were supporting Trump. I was like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about you. Even then, I could see it back then. But then again, I've always been a non-statist or voluntarist, or also known as anarchist anyway. Even when I was the white power movement and a Christian, I still was an anarchist. I didn't believe in politics. I always seen that was bullshit. But then I had to awaken. Religion also keeps us divided and gives us a twisted perception. That state of mind gives you a twisted perception. And so you would do these extreme, weird things. You can say at one time I was an extremist, not so much in politics, but I was a religious extremist. And I was a racial extremist, and very extreme in my ways of thinking, because that's what the what that can happen. And what can happen when you start taking a belief and you start just building sandbags around it. You start sandbagging yourself in. And it's time for the MAGA people and the left-wing people to start just walk from behind your embattlements. And I'm sorry, but I know it sounds cheesy, but hug one another. At least shake hands and say we can agree to disagree, but in the end, we're not against each other as fellow human beings. This hatred for one another that's being expressed all over the place on the internet these days and everything else, it does nothing but serve those elitists that want power. And again, elitist doesn't mean someone who's super rich. It's anyone that wants to rule over you, either themselves or they want to do it by proxy. Anyhow, this whole seesaw polarity thing is an interesting thing, and I was stuck up in that. Again, not politically, but in other ways, theologically. It's time to throw away all this extreme shit, and let's just live and let live. And let's don't be supporting wars. And you know what? Let's don't be supporting people's speech being quelled, people's freedoms being taken away. If you don't believe in guns, owning guns, don't own guns. If you don't believe in having an abortion, don't have an abortion. You know what I mean? But you got to live and let live. I know there's going to be people that disagree with that. There was a time when I would have disagreed with almost everything I've said in this video. But anyhow, I see that as the only way that things are going to get better. And I do believe they are going to get better. Have a great day and have a great life.